Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and today it's the 18th month for the block of the month from Quilting Confections. And this is a very versatile block. It's made with all half-square triangles, but the possibilities are endless. So what we're going to need for the one block is 8 4-inch squares of the dark color, 4 of the light gray, and 4 of the blue. They're all 4-inch squares. And we're going to match them up in 4 of the dark and the light grays, 4 of the dark and the blues together. And to make half square triangles, match 2 sides right side together, draw a line corner to corner, and sew a 1/4 inch on each side of that line. Then we're going to be able to take that block and cut it in half. These need to be now squared to a 3-inch square. And with them squared up, you're going to have 8 of the blue and dark units and 8 of the gray and dark units. Now this block is a block that's divided in 4, so we're going to do 4 corners and then sew the 4 corners together. So you're going to have the blue and the dark with the blue facing in. Then you're going to have a blue and a gray with the dark facing in. And because there's 4 corners, you can stack them in piles of 4, so I have 4 of each. And that way when I take them to the machine, I can just chain piece them and sew them together. Then you're going to be able to put these together, nestling that center seam, and finish that seam off. When the 4 corners are done, you will just need to press the seams going in opposite direction so that one seam is going to go in one direction, one is going to go in the other. And that's going to cause that center to open up. And you're going to have a little 4 patch right there in that corner. And by doing that, this is going to press nice and flat. Now we can lay the blocks out. And the blocks are going to go all in the same direction. So you'll be able to take one and move it to the side. One will go to the bottom. And then the last one is just going to go in the other bottom. So all of the points are going in the same direction. So you need 2 grays and 2 darks in the center. And you'll see that all of these little type butterflies are going to go in the same direction. So the 2 together, and when the 2 are sewn together, you're going to be able to turn it over and do the same thing as you did these seams. You want to have one seam going in one direction, one in the other. And you might have to just unpick a couple of threads, but don't trim the threads. And it's going to make a little pinwheel shape and press both the blocks flat. And the last is to stitch that row together. Flip your blocks and all of the seams are going to be opposing, so you'll be able to stitch right through, matching up your 1/4 inch marks. And to press the seams, we're going to do the same as we've done throughout the block. One is going to go in one direction, and the other is going to go in the other direction. So all of the seams are going to go opposite, and you will have either little 4 patches or little pinwheels at each one of these intersections. And that's the key to making this block lie nice and flat and to keeping all of your points together. The block is done, and as you can imagine, there are many different possibilities. I've had a special request from Linda Lee to blow up a block, so let's blow up this one. So the one block with one border is going to make an entire quilt. To start with, I'm going to use this child's print fabric from Blank Quilting. And the green is going to be my common color between the 2 blocks. To start, we're going to need 7.5 inch blocks. 8 from the green at 7.5 inches. 3 from the light color at 7.5 inches, and 5 7.5 inches from the dark. And just as before, you're going to sew them together, cut them apart, and when you do that, you will be able to get 10 with the dark and the green together, and 6 with the light and the green together. If you used a scant 1/4 inch, you should be able to square these up to 6.5 inches. If your 1/4 inch was a little fat, well, you can square them up to 6 inches. As long as all of the blocks are the same size to start with, it's going to be fine. The construction is the same way, but the layout is going to be slightly different. Start with stacks of 4. So you're going to need 4 of the light with the green, 4 of the dark with the green, and again 4 with the dark and the green. The next 2 piles are going to be slightly different. You'll have 2 left over of the dark and the green and 2 of the light and the green. And you will need to put your stacks together so the green is going towards the center. And this corner here is going to be the center of the quilt. So the center is going to have 2 of the light and 2 of the dark. Now you need to sew them together just like you did the first block. And when the units are sewn together, you'll be able to sew that center seam, putting them together. So you will have 2 blocks in this variation and 2 blocks in this variation. Now to sew the 4 blocks together, you have 2 with the light and 2 that's going to be in the dark, and they need to be opposite of each other. So you can start with the dark and have the darks opposite. So the white will go into the center. Now you're going to be able to sew the units together. And when you sew them together, you will notice that the top pieces that you sew together are going to be matching. So they'll be matching at each seam now, except for the center. And with that little change in the block now looks like it has a large star that comes out. These are both the same block. However, it looks totally different when you change the layout of the fabric. And we now can add a nice big border to finish off this quilt. Now the border is 5.5 inches and it's going to be the length and the width of the quilt. Cut some nice 5.5-inch squares, sew them in the corner as you're sewing the block together, and when this is all done, it should equal 34.5-inch square. And when this is quilted, I'm going to put on a nice bright border to match the rest of the fabric, and it's just going to pop. It is amazing the difference just a couple of changes can make. So we've gone from a block that looks like it has little butterflies in the corner to a block where it looks like it has a big star in the center. Oh, the possibilities are endless. And can you imagine if we've used more than 3 colors? Oh, the possibilities with half square triangles. Thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.